Hi y'all, my name is Cynthia Payne and I am the self-published author of The Last Dragon Princess, which is a fantasy novel that I published through the Amazon self-publishing platform. Now I have had several requests and I have had several of my followers express interest in learning how to self-publish. This would be their very first time publishing anything. These are people who they're not very sure about the self-publishing process. They're not sure what to expect going into it. They have no idea where to start. Maybe they're not very computer literate, or they're not very comfortable with programs that they're not familiar with, or learning a new sort of publishing program or editing program. They generally have a $0 budget. And you know what? This was me not too long ago. The Last Dragon Princess is the first book I have published under my real name, but I published under a pen name for a very long time and still do. And I started very much in the way I'm going to show you how to get everything ready. Self-publishing there are a lot of moving parts, but none of them are particularly difficult. And in this 3-part series, I'm going to guide you button by button, step by step, how to publish your work. So in this episode, I'm going to take you step by step, button through actually uploading your manuscript and your book cover onto Amazon. Every single button you'll need to press, I'm going to explain every single button, what it means, and what you have to do to have the information you need for it. In the second part of the series, which will be published on July 9th, I am going to take you button by button, step by step, how to design and create a DIY book cover for your book and how to get it exactly right. On August 6th, I will be explaining exactly how to format your manuscript in a Word document so that Amazon will accept it as a Kindle book. Word is perfectly acceptable to upload. It's nothing fancy, but it will get the job done and it will still look pretty neat and clean. I have uploaded, I think, 5 books between my own and between manuscripts that I have helped others work on. I did the formatting and it was in Word, and they still came out pretty clean looking. If you know what you're doing and you know the pitfalls to avoid, you can get this done pretty easily, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how to do that. For those of you participating in Hot and Sticky 2019, and several of my followers are, and these are generally people who've asked for this, at the end of this challenge in September, one of your goals is to publish some of your works, be it a poetry collection or a short story collection or a novella that you're working on. And I'm going to be going through this process with the eye toward a poetry collection. I think that's what most of you are working on. So we're going to be looking to publish a poetry collection on Amazon Kindle, just an ebook format, and we're going to be going through that process. So I have scheduled the series so that it will be done on August 6th. That will give me some time if I need to film a 4th video answering questions or filling in any gaps that y'all let me know about in the comments. And so hopefully by the end of September you will have all the information you need, step by step, button by button, in order to achieve your goals. Now this is going to be a little bit backwards. I'm going to be showing you how to upload a manuscript and a book cover before I have shown you how to format a manuscript and before I have shown you how to design a book cover. And there is a very good reason for this. One, it's kind of how we think. So you think, oh, I need to go and I need to learn how to upload this. And then you learn, oh, okay, well, in order to be able to know how to do this, I have to learn how to do this and this. So it's a pretty organic way of thinking about it, and also this step, the uploading to Amazon, it has a lot of details that you really need to be thinking about in the back of your head during the process. It's something you don't want to jump into all at once. You want to do some research, and so you need to know what it is you need to be thinking about and need to be researching that is specific to your work. I'll be pointing out each one of these so that you can jot some notes, and then maybe at the end of Hot and Sticky, when you're ready to upload, you can watch this video again, and hopefully it'll get you through the process. So let's get started. So what we want to do first, we want to go to Amazon.com. And we are going to upload both of our manuscript and our book cover. You want to go to your Amazon homepage, and you want to log in. So you should see your name. Hello there. And if you can hear my kids in the background, they're in the next room watching a video, so I apologize for that, but that's what that noise is about. So you want to make sure you're logged in. If you don't see your name or whatever name you use there, then you'll want to log in. Once you're logged in, you want to scroll all the way to the bottom. All right, so you get this nice big black, gray, blue thing going on here. You've got 4 columns: get to know us, make money with us, Amazon payment products, and let us help you. You want the make money with us. Second from the bottom, self-publish with us. Okay, so you want to click on that. All right, so now this is what your screen is going to look like. Take control with self-publishing, publish to Kindle, publish to print, publish to audio. I have never worked with Audible. I'm not quite at that level yet. I have worked with CreateSpace extensively, but today we are going to focus just on Kindle Direct Publishing, on publishing to an ebook. So we're going to say get started. All right, so now we have, you can watch this little video. It's a cute little video. I don't think it's all that informative, but feel free to watch it. But definitely encourage you. Obviously, Kindle wants you to watch it. You want to sign in with your Amazon account. I'm already signed in. You will probably, if you've never signed in through Kindle Direct Publishing, they'll probably want you to sign in, but I'm already there. Now, this is my Kindle Direct screen. It has my books here, Last Dragon Princess. I have some other books under a pen name, which I won't show you. But it's going to load up from the last modified. If you don't have a book yet, then obviously this will just be blank. But one thing I did want to show you, once you have everything loaded up and once your book is published in the Amazon store, you go to this page and here's your bookshelf. You go to reports. And this is pretty cool. This will tell you how many ebooks you've sold, how many paperback copies you've sold if you have a paperback. Then this is the Kindle Unlimited section, and it will tell you how many page reads you've had from your book. And you can sort this by title, you can sort this by author name if you have multiple pen names. But it's a cool data set to see, and it uploads pretty much once a day, I think. I think that's what it does, once a day. So. But I wanted to show this. So we're going to go back to the bookshelf. That's for after. So right now we are going to create a new title right here on the bookshelf space. It's going to have this notification that CreateSpace is moving to Kindle Direct Publishing. Don't worry about that. CreateSpace is owned by Kindle or owned by Amazon, and they are merging everything. And it's this whole thing. You actually can't create a paperback book in CreateSpace anymore. So, but we're just going to do an ebook. So we're going to go to Kindle ebook, create a new title. All right, so I got to log in. What's my password? I think that's my password. Hey, cool. All right, so we're just going to go through click by click, step by step, and we're going to go through the whole thing. So language, my primary language is English. The book title, Poems by Me. All right, so this is a collection of poetry and short stories, right? So one thing to remember, your book title is searchable, your subtitle is searchable. So when you're planning out your title and your subtitle, you do want to have some keywords in there because these weigh heavily in the search algorithms. So collection, poems, poetry, short stories, these are the sorts of things people search for. So it's best not to, particularly if this is your first book, if you're trying to just put something out there to get some feedback, to see if anyone's going to relate to your work, try to pick a title that isn't obscure. All right, so something with poetry in the title, something that has collection, things that people would actually search for. And we're going to spend a little more time talking about that. But that's something to keep in mind when you're planning and sort of daydreaming about publishing your work. Series name, this is not part of a series. Edition, this is optional. This would be the first edition because it's the first time I'm publishing it, but we're not going to worry about that. The author, I am the author. And okay, you ever get that situation where you know people are watching and you can't spell your own name? So, all right, other contributors for authors. All right, nothing. Description. This will appear in your Amazon's detail page. So, a description, this is important. And you're going to want to spend some time writing, editing, and playing with the description of your book. You don't just want to throw something up here. This is, if you go to Amazon, all right, and you pick, a book. So we're going to pick To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The description is this section here. Okay, so after someone has searched for the sorts of book that they're looking for and they have clicked on your cover because you have a nice cover, the next thing they're going to do is read this description. Okay, so you want to spend some time here. You can even go on Fiverr and pay someone $5 to write a brief description for you, someone who's written a lot of description. I did that for The Last Dragon Princess. I paid someone who, I think $5-10 for someone who just, shoots these things out 10 a day just to get a good idea of the format for what a description should look like, because authors are notoriously bad at writing their own descriptions. And then I heavily polished it, but it was definitely $5 worth spending for me, and it gave me a very good idea of what a description should be for my particular book. So that's something I would recommend. If you don't want to do that, obviously you can write your own. You can write whatever you want in here. So the description, we're going to write a very bad description. This is a very bad description. And we will leave it. Do as I say, not as I do. All right. So put some thought more than that into it, but this is where the description goes. You have 4,000 characters. Amazon does not like links or anything of that nature, but things in your description are searchable at a lower weight than, okay, so if you have a certain word that is a good searchable word in your description, it will have less weight on the search algorithm than it will your book title and subtitle. So if you don't have poems in your book title or subtitle, but you do have poems in your description, it will have less weight than if you had it in both, or if you had it in your title. So say for instance, if it were going to show up number 5 on a search result, if you had poems in your title, it'll show up maybe 20 if you don't have poems in your title, but you do have it in your description. It has less weight on the algorithm. It's considered less important. Okay, publishing rights. I own the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights. Or this is a public domain work. Basically what this, you need to click this one. What this means is, so if you have if you're publishing a very old and very well known where the author has been dead, for 75 years, then that would be a public domain work. It means you don't have the rights to it. But this is your own work, you have the rights to it. Keywords, also something very important that you want to spend some time thinking on and researching. Enter up to 7 search keywords that describe your book. There's also a Kindle Storyteller contest that they do every year. I don't think it's restricted to the UK. I think it's just prizes come out of the UK, but you can click on that for more information. So keywords, we'll read this. Search keywords help readers find your book when they browse the Amazon site. So what you want to do here, you have 7 things to play with, and I think you have 25 characters, if I remember correctly, per section. That includes spaces. You want to research the sorts of things that people will be searching for in your book. So I'm going to give you an example of how to do this. You absolutely want to fill every one of these in, and you want to use the heck out of these, because these will help people more than anything find your book. So to do research on this sort of thing, what you want to do, you want to, how do I do this? Is it here? Where do I do this? You want to go into a, I used to have a 3 button here. What happened to that? Do I go here? And no. Okay, yeah. New incognito window. You want to go incognito, right? So that you don't have any of your cookies or anything going on. You want to go to Amazon.com. This is in your incognito. So Amazon doesn't know that this is you, and it's not going to give you search results based on your past preferences. That's very important. You want to go incognito to do research for your keywords. And what you want to do is you want to make a list, write down, jot in a notebook, back of a receipt, whatever, all these sorts of words that describe your book. Okay, so let's say that half of your poetry collection deals with poems about unrequited love. All right, that's a really popular one to write about. So, unrequited. Now, you're going to stop there. Type in unrequited. See what is suggested. All right? Very important. So, unrequited women and romantic obsession. Cool. Unrequited dreams. That's not a good one. That's a specific title. Unrequited love romance books. The upside of unrequited, that's an actual title, so disregard that. Unrequited love, unrequited toil. Okay, so unrequited love might be something that you would think of yourself, but unrequited toil, that's not the sort of phrase I would think of on myself, but it's the first one recommended. Now, the magic of this is that these are things people are actively searching for. They would not show up in the Amazon recommended suggestions box here if they were not already very popular. And I'm just making stuff up. Okay, so when I was researching this for The Last Dragon Princess, I was looking at phrases for the sorts of stories that would be similar. So political intrigue. Political intrigue novels, not a whole lot is suggested there. But if you just type in political books, political stickers, political... I've read that book too. It's quite good. You would also do paranormal. Paranormal romance Kindle free. These are sorts of things that would apply to my book. Dragons. Dragons love tacos. My kids love that book. We are in... yeah, okay. So you want to go through and you want to make a list, and this is a little time intensive, but you want to go into, oh, that's my Sims. You want to find your keywords, and you're going to put keywords in here. So, and you want to do more than poem collection. You want to get this very specific. People looking for poem collections are going to have a very large selection to choose from, but people looking for poems about kids and horses, that's a very narrow search, and you're far more likely to show up in that search result. So you want to fill all these up with your research keywords. Find the ones that seem the most popular. Okay, fill those up. Categories. You want to set your categories. A lot of people like to browse. So what this is going to be, you're going to choose up to 2 selected categories. So it's a tree. So you're going to click on one and more are going to pop up. And you're going to go all the way down to as specific a section as you can get into. So poems, is that literary collections? I don't know. We have a lot of options here. So if you're an LGBT poetry collection, then you would select that. If your poems deal with Caribbean and Latin America, I guess you would choose that. I'm American, general and African American. Okay, so not a whole lot of selection there. So, education reference, literary comics and graphic novel, juvenile fiction and juvenile nonfiction. This is generally aimed at under 18. Probably not going to get a whole lot. Oh, okay, fairy tales and folklore. You just go through the tree and try to find the best matches. You're going to select 2 of them. Concepts. What is concepts? Ah, that's what that is. Okay. So, for the sake of it, we're going to go into fiction, and we are going to go to coming of age. And I'm going off The Last Dragon Princess here. So, it's not a dark fantasy, it's a fantasy. You can do general. Let's see here. It's also juvenile fiction. Is there anything different? Mine also deals with fairy tales and folklore. No mythology, though. So, okay, but just, pick something. Pick something that you've put more thought into. That's how that works. Age and grade recommendation. This is, if it's specifically a children's age range, then you would do a children's age range. If it is like something like erotica, you would set it at 18 plus if it has primarily adult content. If it doesn't really matter, you can leave this blank. Same with the grade range. It's for US grades if it's something geared toward a very specific grade range. Okay, so pre-order is if you want, basically it's if you want to pre-order or not. This isn't the publish button. If you want to make your book available for pre-order, that's your decision. I've never worked with pre-order before. So I'm going to pick, I'm ready to release my book now. Save and continue to the next step, which is content. Please fix highlighted area. Oh, I do need a minimum. Okay, so 1. Alright, so we're done with that step. Next step is Kindle ebook content. Right. Alright, so digital rights management, DRM. So DRM is intended to inhibit unauthorized distribution of the Kindle file of your book. Some authors want to encourage readers to share your work and choose not to have DRM applied to their book. If you choose DRM, customers will still be able to lend the book to another user for a short period and can also purchase the book as a gift for another user from the Kindle store. Once you publish your book, you cannot change its DRM settings. Basically, what this means is Amazon... Okay, what this means is that you don't want anyone giving away your book for free, just for the sake of giving it away. People can buy it as a gift. People can lend it as they would a copy they've purchased, like a physical copy they've purchased. They could lend it to some in the same way they would be able to purchase your ebook and lend it to someone temporarily, but they can't just make copies and, throw it out. So most people are going to want to enable digital rights management in order to protect their work. So these are the recommended formats for Kindle books. Docs are on there, and we are going to upload our ebook manuscript. All right. So in part 3 of this series, I will show you how to format the manuscript. Poems by me. In order for this to not have any issues, but right now we're just going to upload it, and you'll have to wait for part 3 to come out. All right, very good. So that's uploaded successfully. Excellent. Now we are going to, you can use Cover Creator. I don't recommend you do, but Kindle does have a program which will let you design a quick and dirty cover that, to be frank, is not going to look very good. So in part 2 of this series, I'm going to show you how to create a free book cover using free software, and you will get a much better result if you go in that route. But we already have that because I've already filmed it. So we are going to upload, and you need a JPG or a TIFF file. We talked about that. I have a JPG file of my book cover. Where did I put it? I put it in YouTube. And I put it in photos and poems by me. PPP. Alright. So we are now uploading the book cover. Alright, so that was successful. And one thing that's popped up after a few more minutes is that there were no spelling errors. If you have like some made up words, that's going to pop up. It will let you publish with spelling errors. That's fine. Okay, and I just uploaded that. But it's going to tell you if there are issues, and it's going to tell you where they are if it happens to see them, which is a nice little function. Okay, so we have our cover, we have our manuscript, that is our content. Kindle ebook previewer. They are converting the files now. This takes a little bit. So the online previewer is the easiest way to preview, and it will actually pop up a new window where you can view what your ebook will look like on different devices. We're going to skip that for now because it's uploading. We can come back to that. This takes a few minutes, but we can come back to that and I will show you how that works. Kindle ebook ISBN. Now, for an ISBN on a Kindle book, it is not recommended. If you go down the rabbit hole, oh, okay, so that's option now. If you go down the rabbit hole of the ISBN number and whether you need one, whether you should get one, and whether you should get the free one, or whether you should buy one, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. Here's the thing. No one cares. The only people who care are the people who have decided to care. No one who actually reads a book pays attention to the ISBN number. You need an ISBN number if you have a physical book. There's nothing wrong with getting the free book. It really changes nothing to spend the $150 to get your own ISBN number, other than if you decide that it's going to be important to you, then it would make you feel better. But on an ebook, you don't even need to do that. So it doesn't matter. Publisher. In The Last Dragon Princess, I actually wrote down self-published as my publisher, and that's fine. You don't even need to type anything in there. If you decide you want to make up your own crazy publishing name, then fine. No one cares. I swear, no one cares. So we're gonna, now that it's loaded up, we're gonna go to Launch Previewer, and this will take a minute. Actually, not so bad. It took hardly any time at all. Okay, so this is our KDP Direct Publishing Previewer. All right, so this is what it's going to look like when Kindle modifies and adjusts everything of the Word file into the Kindle file. They don't use a Mobi. They use something similar to a Mobi file, but that's not important. This is the Word file that we have developed, and you can see that video when it comes out. That'll be part 3 of this series. And the cover, it has already included the cover in here. So this is what the cover is going to look like on a Kindle. So the device we've decided here is a tablet, and you can change it to a horizontal view. All right, if you think your reader will read horizontally on their tablet. All right. You can change it to a Kindle e-reader. So this is what your cover will look like on a Kindle e-reader. It tends to be not quite as crisp, but that's fine. No one cares. Or a phone. A lot of people do read on their phone, right? So, very cool. We're going to stick to tablet for now, but that's how you can change. And that's my kids in the background, if you can hear them. Okay, so, and we are going to flip the page, and we are going to go through every single page and make sure it looks okay. All right, make sure there's no obvious problems. So here's our title page, Poems by Me by Cynthia Payne. Copyright page, that looks good. Okay, so excellent. This is our table of contents. I think we can, yeah, it looks like we can actually, so can we go here? Yeah, okay, that works. All right, so the formatting here works. This looks a little odd. It's not, this is supposed to be the title here. So table of contents, we can go up here, go to table of contents. and it knows, it sees the hyperlinks bit, and it knows. So, but the hyperlink works. That's great. That's what we wanted to check here. Sampling poetry. Okay, so I am now seeing that the title are a little bit off. It looks like there's an extra tab there. I can go back and fix that on my original Word document rather easily, and then re-upload it. I won't film that, but it's a simple enough change, and that's why we have this previewer. But what I do see is the formatting of the actual poem looks pretty good. I'm happy with how that has come out. And I want to look at the thing. That looks good. And I also want to look at what this looks like on a phone. Now, do not try at any point to micromanage any of this, because it's going to look different on every single device. But what I can see is that the titles are not quite centered, and I wanted them centered. But that's an easy enough fix. I can fix that. And go back to tablet. All right. And you want to go through every single page. Right? This looks fine. You want to go through every single page, make sure each new story or each new poem starts on its own page, that it doesn't have, doesn't have the end of one poem and then the start of another, unless you wanted it that way. I did not want it that way. But this doesn't actually look half bad. The only thing that's a little messed up is the title, and I can fix that rather easily. So, okay, so this all looks good. How do I get out of here? Back to book details over here. Very good. And so I can fix that later, but just for the sake of showing you how to work this, we're going to save and continue. Okay, so this is the last section, KDP ebook pricing. We've gone through book details, we've gone through content. This is the last step. KDP Select Enrollment. This is the Kindle Unlimited program. I enroll all of my books through the Kindle Unlimited program. I also subscribe to the Kindle Unlimited program. I've got a booktube series about books that I've read on the Kindle Unlimited program, so I'm a big fan of KDP Select. But it may not be a good fit for you. That's a decision for you to make. Basically, what this is for $10 a month, a reader can subscribe to the Kindle Unlimited library and have unlimited selection to all of the titles within that library. The authors, the copyright holders of the books enrolled in the KDP Select program, get paid by page reads. So when you sell an ebook, you get paid, X amount per download, whether or not the person actually ever reads the book or DNFs it after 10% or whatever. So in a way, I really like the KDP program because it encourages longer books, it encourages better books, because if your reader is engaged, they will want to keep reading. It can be a good way if you are just starting out. I do recommend enrolling into it because it can be a very good way to gauge customer or reader engagement. So most books are abandoned before the 50% mark. That's just how it works. Most people put it down and don't pick it up before they hit the 50% mark. If you have a lower rate than that, or if you have a higher rate than that, then that tells you something. You're not going to have that specific detail, but you are going to be able to see how many pages of your book has been read. And you can do some decent math. They won't tell you how many times it's been borrowed in the Kindle Unlimited program, but just based on how many times it's been, how many groups of readers you've had. If you tend to get spikes that are less than half the number of pages in your book, then that tells you something. If you tend to get spikes and they tend to complete through the entirety of your book, then that tells you something. So that can be a good way to do. It's also a good way for new authors to be found, because there is no there is no prevention of someone trying out a new author. They don't have to say, oh, okay, I don't want to spend the $4, to try out this new author that I might not like. Well, they've already spent their money. So if it looks intriguing to them, they're far more likely to click on it. But that's your decision. I'm going to click on it because I think it's a good idea. So territories, select the territories for which you hold your distribution rights. That's going to generally be all territories. I'm not sure what situations would result in this one. For the vast majority of the time, it's going to be all territories. Royalty and pricing, KDP pricing support. This is complicated. Basically, here's the deal. If you want to sell your book for 99 cents, and that's not a bad place to start, truth be told, if you're just throwing it out there and seeing what sticks, then you need to pick the 35%, and then your range there is 99 cents to $200. If you want to spend, I think it's for more than 99 cents. Okay, if you want to do for the $2.99, then you go for the 70%. The only time this starts really making a difference is, I believe, at the 70%, you are given a delivery fee after first megabyte. For most text-based books, you don't need to worry about this. If your book contains a lot of images, you need to start worrying about this. It may end up being cheaper if you have a lot of images in your work to choose the 35% and not get charged the delivery option, if I'm remembering how this works correctly. But basically, the main rule, if you want to sell it for 99 cents, a lot of people do, pick the 35%. If you want to sell it for $2.99 or more, pick the 75%. Now, collection story, 99 cents might not be a bad way to do this. Okay, yeah, so for the 35% rate, there is no delivery. Now, at the 70%, and it'll give you a quick calculator. Okay, yeah, so at a 35%, you will not have a delivery fee. At the 75%, you will have a very modest delivery fee because this is a very small file size. And it will tell you your approximate your royalty for each one. So that's cool. Another thing I like to do is, once I've decided on a price, and you'll look at similar collections and similar works to figure out where you should be. And if this is your first time, you probably want to aim toward the lower end of that spectrum to lower the threshold of people wanting to buy your book. Okay, so one thing I like to do is, once this has decided, I like to click on other marketplaces and see what their range is. Okay, so this is converted into other currencies, and sometimes that gets a little funky. So I think this is Brazil, 11.53. That's a little funky, so I might change that to 11.49 for Brazil, so it looks, so it doesn't look like it's obviously been converted by a computer. So I might go into that. So make that 25, and just brief rounding, just so it looks a little bit better. So 207, I might make that 199. Just so it looks like it doesn't look like it was converted automatically, because that can turn some people off. Enroll in Kindle Matchbook. Give customers who purchase your print book from Amazon the option to purchase your Kindle ebook for $2.99 or less. We don't have a physical book in this case, and it's pretty much what it is. Basically, if someone buys your physical book for $9.99 or whatever, then they have the option of purchasing your ebook so they can start reading immediately before their print book comes in the mail. I have The Last Dragon Princess enrolled in this. I think you can buy the ebook for 99 cents once you've bought the print book. It's just another option, and sometimes it can push people to be like, oh, I can start reading immediately, even though I prefer to read in a physical book. I can go ahead and get started, and I like that idea, so I'll go ahead and buy it. Book lending. Allow Kindle lending books. If it is locked, if you're at the 70% royalty option, then you're required to be enrolled in Kindle book lending. And this is basically the same idea of if someone has your physical book, they can lend it to a friend and there's nothing legally stopping them. Okay, same idea for a Kindle book, except that they don't have access to their copy of the Kindle book during, I think it's 2 weeks. I've borrowed some Kindle books from my husband, and I think it's about 2 weeks that you can lend that ebook to whoever you're lending it to, but you don't have access to it for 2 weeks. So it's very much the same idea of lending a physical book. If you're at the 70% rate, it's locked in. If you're at the 35% rate, then you can decide. All right, terms and conditions. It can take up to, that's my kids. Terms and conditions. It can take up to 72 hours for your title to be available for purchase on Amazon. And this is literally, you hit that button and you have finished you are ready to publish your book, and in 72 hours it'll be up. Now, in my experience, it can be anywhere from 12 hours to even a little bit over 72 hours, but it's rarely more than 3 days. And generally what you're going to see is as it percolates through the very, very, very large Amazon system, certain parts of it will go live before other parts. So your book may be available, but the search algorithms might not be active yet. So for instance, the book cover and description may go live, but nothing else is available, so all the search algorithms aren't quite there. However, once everything is fully percolated through the system, Amazon.com will send you an email letting you know that it's done and loaded. But before that point, you may very well be able to find your book and just pieces are missing. Don't get worried about that. That will clear itself out. But generally, it loads pretty quickly. After you publish your book, you can change almost anything, and you would go through the same process. You would go to, so we're gonna save as draft, right? Okay, and you can save as draft until you decide. You can get everything set up, but you've announced that you're going to publish your work in a week. So you can get everything set up so that the only thing you have to do is come in here and hit that button, preferably a few days before, so that it will definitely have time to percolate through the system. But anytime you want to change something, you would just log into Amazon, go to your bookshelf under the self-titled thing. So my book is already up here, right next to The Last Dragon Princess. I'm not actually going to publish it, but this is just to show you. And right now it's in continue setup. Once it's published, this will change to promote and advertise. Okay, and in here there are other videos you can look at to show, you can run free giveaways, you can do all sorts of things. But right now it's continue setup, and I think once you hit publish, this changes to updating or something. It changes to something else, and once it's done, it goes to promote and advertise here. So that is it. That is how it works. After the 3 days or whatever, you get that magical email from Amazon, and you're done. If you eventually want to change something, you go here and you would hit, say if I wanted to change something about The Last Dragon Princess that is already published, I'd go to these three little dots, go over here, and I would edit either content, details, or pricing, right? When you enroll in KDP Select, you can go to KDP Select Info, and that will tell you how many page numbers you have. All right, so this is, I automatically update, so it's automatically going to update again in June 26th. I don't care about that. So I'm enrolled. I can run a promotion. I can add, where is my page number? Okay, so The Last Dragon Princess has 467 pages, Kindle edition normalized page count. Now, I think the physical book has, I don't know, 350 pages? I don't know. You generally have more pages in Kindle edition normalized page count. The reason this is important is that through the Kindle Unlimited or the KDP Select program, I am paid for each page number read. So if someone reads the entire book, I will be paid for all 467 pages of the book, and it hovers around a half a cent per page, so you can do the math there. And if I go to reports, then this is my Kindle Unlimited data. So, this was a good day. I had 500 pages read. So that's more than one book was read in that day for the Kindle Unlimited. Now, I have other books under a pen name in this, but The Last Dragon Princess is my most popular one right now. So that's where that data will be. If you're not enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program, this will all be blank. So I hope this was useful to you. If you have any questions, please comment below and ask, and I will try my best to answer them. In part 2 of this series, I will show you how I designed this book cover and the whole process I went through to determine if that would be a good book cover. I will also go and I will show you how I formatted my Word document so that KDP would accept it and would be happy with it. I will be going back there and changing that that title issue, and I'll go ahead and film that as a little addendum. And that's it. So part 2 will be the book cover, part 3 will be the editing, and I hope this has answered a lot of your questions and made this whole process a little less scary for you, just going through button by button. And thank you very much. And please, if you want to follow along with me with the rest of the series, please hit that subscribe button and the like button and all that other call to action stuff that people always ask you to do. And thank you again, and have a great day. So bye bye.